I be a good girl and be happy too? That's the question that I've wrestled with for years. And I wasn't aware until really recently just how much joy and freedom that internal struggle was stealing from me by wrestling with that question. I learned early on as a child who I was supposed to be and how I was supposed to act to be a good girl, to be a good Christian girl, to obey my parents, to be approved of, to honor and please God, which of course I want to do. I was supposed to love others. I was supposed to be nice to people and be unselfish, be generous, be a servant, use my gifts and live like Jesus in my purpose and to honor and glorify God, which is all rewarding and honoring and beautiful, just a beautiful thing, and I wouldn't take anything for it. But weaved into that were threads of religious legalism that poison God's intention for me. Like, I must deny my flesh. Desire is bad. Pleasure is sinful. Wanting what I want and needing what I want and what I need can't be trusted. Those were the things that I was told. The enemy wants us to be afraid of our own joy, and he wants us to not trust our hearts. And when we fall prey to that and we drink that poison, we believe the lies that our hearts can't be trusted, that we can't be good Christians and honor our needs and our desires. We can't honor God and love and do what we really love. We have to deny our passions and our yearnings in our heart deep inside. We can't feel pleasure. What happens is we become slaves in our own lives as a result of that to duty and obligation and burden. And we wear ourselves out doing all the things we think are right and good. And we learn that who we really are and what really brings us joy isn't okay. And that we must become the good Christian girl or the good Christian boy who pleases God and serves others at the expense of our own needs, our own desires, and our own happiness, and even our own health at times. And the result is a life of shoulds, supposed tos, have tos, people pleasing, performing for God and for others, and staying disciplined and dutiful, obedient to the rigid rules that drive us constantly out of the fear and the shame so that we won't fall out of God's grace. And when we deny what's important to us and we live out of alignment with what brings us joy and inner peace, and we don't follow the promptings of our spirit and of our passions and our joy, then we trade a life of enjoyment and deep fulfillment and pleasure, which we were created for, and true meaning for that life of duty, obligation, people-pleasing, and performing for God, and we are dying a slow death. It is fear-driven, it's heavy, it's exhausting, and it's soul-sucking. And I see so many people living like this, and I fell for it most of my life. I didn't realize that I had created my own prison in which I continued to exist in constant struggle, striving, inner turmoil, and deep down, I was angry and I was bitter. My body was fighting back in every way with health problems, and I was bone tired. I was tired of giving to everybody else and doing all that I thought I was supposed to do at my own expense because I was buying into this religiosity. And I rebelled against God too, because that's what happens when we get resentful and empty and we try to live out of that place. We act out in rebellion to try to quench our dying heart's thirst. That's right. The good girl and the good boy syndrome is not creating the sweet aroma that we think it is. It's not serving anyone, and it is not glorifying God. It's a poison that's slowly killing us. And the truth is that we're created for God's enjoyment. We're created for His pleasure and for ours. We're created to be led by our passion, fueled by our joy and our creativity, and to co-create with God a life that we love, that is a pleasing aroma to Him, that we enjoy also. God isn't a slave driver, and He's not a prison warden, and we're created to live in true freedom. We don't have to be afraid of our pleasure. We get to be happy without retribution. We get to enjoy life without being bad. We get to listen to and honor our passions and follow our joy and our pleasure without judgment or condemnation. We get to be wealthy without being selfish. We get to take care of ourselves and honor our needs and our joys without being responsible for other people or having to feel guilty. We get to enjoy God's blessings, His love, His approval, and His grace without having to get it all right all the time and be good all the time. We get to be free to be who we are and enjoy the life that we've been gifted. And yes, when we do it outside of connection with Him, we are led astray. Yes, we are called to mature in our faith and our relationship with Him and learn how to mature in our faith. But it's from a place of unconditional love and freedom and from the true joy of His presence and connection, not from the rules of religion or driven by fear of not getting it right. We are good inherently. We get to take care of ourselves and enjoy life. We don't have to earn our right to be a good girl or a good boy at our own expense anymore. So now that you have permission to be truly free and be happy, I want to ask you, how are you denying yourself? How are you living out of alignment with what you're deeply passionate about? What God put in you to be passionate about? What's your heart yearning for that will actually breathe true life into you and allow you to feel real joy, but you've convinced yourself is forbidden because it might tarnish your good girl or your good boy badge, so you stay in the prison of existence? What truth deep inside have you denied because you've drank the poison and believed the lie that you can't be good and be happy? It's time to be free to be you and enjoy who God made you to be and live the life of freedom and joy and abundance that He created for you. And if you're living any other way, then I'm here to lead you to freedom. Just click that button below and let's talk and let's settle this once and for all. You are